I sold my parents' house to save my brother, and he never knew. Until now. The three-story Victorian house stood there, imposing as always, but to Chloe, it had never seemed so fragile. The walls that once echoed Christmas laughter and birthday celebrations now held only silence and memories. 3 days ago, Dylan had collapsed at university. The diagnosis came cold and merciless: acute myeloid leukemia, advanced stage. Dylan was 19 years old, Chloe, 32. The experimental treatment in Boston can save him, said Dr. Harrison. But it's not covered by insurance. $200,000. $200,000. The number echoed in Chloe's mind like a death knell. She looked at Dylan in the hospital bed, pale, lost, frightened. The same brown eyes that followed her around the house when he was 5. The same eyes that sparkled when she promised at their parents' funeral 7 years ago. I'll take care of you. Always. That night, Chloe returned to the empty house. Each room was a time capsule. The kitchen where Mom taught recipes. The living room where Dad played guitar. Dylan's bedroom, still with band posters. She climbed to the attic and found the deed. Inherited. Paid off. Valued at $240,000. Tears came before she could stop them. It wasn't just a house. It was the last physical piece of their parents. It was Dylan's childhood. It was everything. But Dylan was more. What if he hates me for this? She whispered to the emptiness. What if, by saving him, I become the reason for his pain? The silence of the house didn't answer. The next morning, Chloe called a real estate agency. Her voice didn't tremble. I want to sell. Fast. What would you do in her place? 3 weeks. A young family bought the house. They loved the porch, the garden, the creaking stairs. Chloe signed the papers in silence. $240,000. Deposited. Enough. Dylan was weaker. The conventional chemotherapy wasn't working. What if it's too expensive? He asked, his voice weak. She held his hand, bony and cold. I got a special loan. Everything's resolved. The lie came too easily and weighed like lead. Mia and Luna, her best friends, came to help empty the house. Each donated piece of furniture tore a piece from her. The kitchen table, the sofa, Dad's guitar. Are you sure about this, Chloe? Luna asked, crying. There's another way, but this is the only one that saves my brother. They moved to a tiny apartment. No history, no soul, but with what was necessary. Dylan looked around, confused. Where's our stuff? In storage. Temporarily. Another lie. Let's focus on treatment. That night, Chloe lay on the sofa bed. Dylan slept in the only bedroom. She looked at the cracked ceiling and allowed herself to cry. Silently. The weight of sacrifice wasn't the house. It was the secret. Have you ever lied to protect someone you love? Boston in autumn was beautiful, but Chloe barely noticed. The experimental treatment was aggressive. Dylan lost weight, hair, color. But the doctors saw hope. The cancer cells are responding, said Dr. Chun in the 3rd week. Slowly, but they are. Dylan smiled for the first time in weeks. That smile was worth every penny, every lie, every pain. But then Wyatt called. Dylan's best friend since childhood. Chloe, I drove by the house. There's a family living there. A sold sign. What happened? Her heart froze. I leased it to them. Temporarily. Leased. His voice was skeptical. For how long? Depends on Dylan's treatment. Silence. Then, you're lying. She hung up before the tears returned. Dylan improved millimeter by millimeter. In the 4th week, he walked to the window alone. In the 5th, he ate a whole meal. In the 6th, he made a joke. When we get back home, he said one night, I'm throwing a party. Barbecue in the yard, like Dad used to do. Chloe held his hand. Sounds perfect. But she knew. The demolition was scheduled for 3 weeks. The new owners wanted to build something modern. Nothing of that house would remain. And Dylan could know. Not yet. How would you keep a secret that saves but destroys? The 7th week brought surprising results. The cancer cells had decreased 60%. He could enter complete remission in 2 months, said Dr. Chin. 2 months. But the demolition would happen in 10 days. Scarlett, Dylan's cousin, called furiously. You sold the house? Your parents' house? Dylan will be devastated. It's none of your business, Scarlett. Then explain it to me. But she couldn't. Not yet. Just don't tell him. Please. Dylan missed home. He talked about the porch, the rose garden, the attic. I can't wait to go back. I'll restore the fence, paint the walls. Each word was a needle. The secret consumed her body like the disease consumed his. Chloe worked remotely, barely eating, barely sleeping. The mirror showed a stranger. You're killing yourself, Mia said on a video call. I'm saving my brother. And who's going to save you? That night, Chloe received the email. Subject: Demolition confirmed, October 15th. She looked at Dylan sleeping peacefully. He was 19 years old. His whole life ahead. What if he never forgives me? She whispered to the darkness. What if I saved his life, but lost the right to be part of it? The questions had no answers. Only fear. Is there too high a price for love? The demolition happened on a gray Tuesday. Mia sent messages all day. 8:47 a.m. The machines arrived. 10:23 a.m. The porch was first. 2:15 p.m. The garden. Everything's leveled. 5:02 p.m. It's over. Nothing's left. Chloe locked herself in the hospital bathroom. 26 years of memories. Reduced to rubble in 9 hours. But Dylan was alive. Dylan was improving. That had to be enough. That night, Dylan noticed. You've been different. For weeks. What's happening? I'm just tired. You know you can tell me anything, right? We're a team. Guilt was a slow poison. Everything's fine, I promise. Another lie added to the pile. Wyatt showed up in Boston the following week. Dylan got excited. When I get out of here, maybe even build a pool in the backyard? Wyatt choked on his coffee. Chloe intervened quickly. Let's take it slow. After Dylan fell asleep, Wyatt and Chloe walked by the river. He doesn't know, Wyatt said, about what you did. And he can't know. Not yet. How will you tell him? When? She stopped, staring at the dark water. When he's strong enough. What if he doesn't forgive you? The question hung in the cold air. Chloe had no answer. What secret would you carry to protect the one you love? November came with snow. Dylan completed 10 weeks of treatment. 85% remission. Dr. Chin used the word they were afraid to hope for. Cure. 6 more weeks and we can discharge you, she said, smiling. Dylan hugged Chloe tightly. We did it. We really did it. But making it meant going back home. And the house didn't exist anymore. Luna brought an album that weekend. Photos of the Victorian house. Every room. Every detail. For when you're ready. Dylan got curious. What's that? Nothing, Chloe hid it. Just memories. But Dylan wasn't fragile anymore. He was alert. Observant. Why is everyone acting strange? That night, Dylan found the album while Chloe dozed. He flipped through the pages. Then gently woke her. Why do you have an album of the house? Her heart raced. Luna made it. To preserve memories while we're away. While we're away, Dylan repeated. Chloe, when are we going back? She couldn't answer. In the 12th week, Dylan was strong enough to go out. They went to a cafe. That's when Scarlett called. Chloe, I need to talk to Dylan. He deserves to know. But Dylan had already grabbed the phone. Chloe watched the color drain from his face. The house, he whispered. She sold the house. He hung up slowly. You sold our house. I can explain. You sold our parent house. Without telling me. His voice was strangely calm. For months, you looked me in the eyes and lied. To protect you. You were dying and you didn't protect me. You treated me like a child. His voice broke. Tears came. That house was all we had left of them. And you just threw it away. For me. I didn't throw it away. I traded it. For your life. But I didn't ask for that. You didn't need to ask. You're my brother. Dylan stepped back. I need time. Away from you. She stood outside the hotel. Alone. Shattered. I saved him. Chloe sobbed in Mia's arms. Why does it feel like I lost him? What hurts more? Being misunderstood or doing the right thing? Dylan didn't talk to Chloe for 3 days. 3 days that felt like 3 years. He continued treatment, but asked others to accompany him. Chloe waited outside, invisible. On the 4th night, Wyatt brought an envelope. Dylan asked me to give you this. With trembling hands, Chloe read, Chloe, I'm angry, sad, confused. The house was our last piece of them. I dreamed of raising my children there, telling stories about the garden, the porch, the attic. And now it's gone. Forever. But I also understand that if you hadn't done what you did, I wouldn't be here to feel this pain. I'd be dead. I don't know if I can forgive you yet, but I know one thing. You saved my life. And that has to mean something. Thank you for loving me enough to do the impossible. Dylan. Chloe read until tears blurred the words. A week later, Dylan allowed her in during treatment. They sat in silence. Then Dylan spoke. Why didn't you tell me? Before selling. Because you would have said no. You would have preferred to die than lose the house. You don't know that. I do. I've known you for 19 years. You're stubborn. Noble. You would have insisted on trying another way, even if there wasn't one. Dylan didn't deny it. I would have fought against it, and you would have lost. The house and your life. I hate that you're right, he said with a bitter laugh. I hate that I probably would have done exactly that. I didn't want to take your choice. But I couldn't lose you. Dylan wiped his eyes. Dr. Chen said I can be discharged next week. That's amazing. We don't have a home to go back to anymore. We have the apartment. It's not home. Not without them. Chloe held his hand. They weren't in the house, Di. They're here. In us. In the memories. In the love they taught us. Dylan squeezed back. Weak. But real. Do you forgive me? Chloe whispered. Not completely yet. But I'm trying. It was a beginning. Do you believe in sacrifices like this? Dylan was discharged on November 28th, 2 days before Thanksgiving. Dr. Chen cried. You're my Thanksgiving miracle. The apartment was decorated with balloons and banners. A cake. Welcome back to life. Dylan smiled real, wide, for the first time in months. That night, after friends left, Dylan spoke. I went to the address of the house. Yesterday. Chloe's heart stopped. You saw it. There's a new building there. Glass and concrete. It looks nothing like what it was. He looked at his hands. But you know what I realized? It's not the house I missed. It was the people. Mom making pancakes. Dad trying to fix things. You teaching me to ride a bike. He looked at her. The house was the stage. But the story was always about us. I forgive you, Dylan said. Completely. Because you gave me something more valuable than a house. You gave me a future. They cried, embracing. Years of pain and love pouring out. We'll create new memories, Chloe whispered. Together. On Thanksgiving, Dylan raised his glass. A toast. To Chloe, the bravest person I know, who sacrificed everything to save me. You taught me what family means, and I'll never forget that. Everyone drank, emotional. December brought real snow, and with it an idea. I want to plant a tree, Dylan said, where the house was. A cherry tree, like the one Mom loved. Chloe smiled through tears. She would have loved that. December 12th dawned cold and clear. Dylan held a cherry tree sapling. Chloe stood beside him, along with Mia, Luna, Wyatt, and Scarlett. The new owners of the land were kind. It would be an honor to have a tree with so much history. Together, they dug the hole. Dylan and Chloe positioned the sapling, their hands touching the earth where their dream house once stood. For Mom and Dad, Dylan said softly. And for us, for the future. Chloe rigo au arvor, tears mixing with the water. And for the sacrifice that brought us here. The cherry tree would stand there, growing, blooming every spring. A living symbol that, Even when we lose everything, love remains. Hope is reborn. Compassion flourishes. Dylan hugged Chloe.
Thank you, sis.
For everything. For being strong when I couldn't be. Always, she whispered. The same word. The same promise she made 7 years ago. They stood there until the sun began to set, warmed by renewal, by overcoming, by the courage they never let die. The house was gone, but the promise remained, and it bloomed like the cherry tree. If this story ignited a flame in your heart, subscribe to the channel, let the bell shine, and spread this light of hope with those who need it most. In the comments, reveal to us with tenderness, what sacrifice have you offered for someone dear? 2 hearts. Offer your like as a gift of the soul and help Blaze illuminate more hearts. Explore other exciting journeys in our videos and come dance with the stories that transform lives. Thank you for being part of this tapestry of stars we weave together.